What do you think happens after we die? Having come close to that cliff and almost got pushed over once. What do you think happens when you do get pushed off the cliff?
Okay. I feel dumb that I'm even going to preface this by saying, obviously, I have no fucking idea. And I think that's one of the cool things about death.
Hmm.
No idea.
The
Yeah.
CIA probably does.
You think the CIA? I love we've decided your audience is the CIA.
Yeah, yeah.
How would you? Oh wait,
I need to, because there's a lot of suspicion that I might be FSB and Mossad, so I'm trying to rebrand. I'm trying to steer them into the CIA direction. No.
As far as what happens when you die, one thing I return to when I'm getting overly complex is the idea of as above, so below. So that you can, a lot of the big questions can be answered by your own experience now. So, in other words, in terms of thinking about death, um, if you look back to baby Lex versus adult Lex, where's the baby? Baby's gone. You've regenerated all your cells many times by then. So, in a way, you could say Lex baby died. The death didn't look like a typical, and I'm not trying to dodge it, but I'm just saying it was very natural that the death of that baby.
So in many ways that baby died, but I am, at least personally, am surprised how much the person is exactly the same. So there's many ways in which you're very different, but there's a lot of ways in which you're very much the same.
Sure.
And I wonder if life is defined by many deaths that continue on, and then I wonder if there's something persists.
Sure.
Beyond in this that yeah, there is something that still persists. I wonder.
Okay, so that now, obviously, there's so many different answers to this question that are religious and ranging from the most absurd shit you ever heard in your life, like the gold. You're gonna get a mansion. There's gold streets. Do you even want gold streets?
Who offers gold streets? I know about the virgins, but there's a bunch of virgins.
The Christians give you the gold streets in the mansion, depending on whatever the particular sect of Christianity is. It's some kind of city. That's paved with gold. No one's addressing the fact that the moment the streets are made of gold, gold is a valueless substance. I mean, it's sort of pretty in a cheesy kind of way, but no one's going to give a shit about it. It's like if there was not a lot of asphalt in the world, then we'd be in heaven from that way of thinking. But
or honestly, when going back, this is starting to get a theme with Gulag Archipelago. I'm sorry, I'm reading it currently.
That's a sticky book.
Yeah, it's very sticky in your mind. Very, very tough. As I'm running through very hot heat, I'm listening to Gulag Archipelago.
Oh my God.
And one of the things they said, they would feed prisoners salt, and then they would exchange. The prisoners would be able to give up anything, everything, their gold, their possessions, everything for just one drink of water. So that little context of dehydrating them and feeding them salt changes your value system completely.
Right.
So maybe the gold is supposed to be a metaphor for something that you still value deeply.
Yes. Again, any of these things, when you take them literally, they seem absurd. But if you look deeper into it, it's quite beautiful. But the Buddhist version of it is that there's a momentum. The best way to put it is it's a kind of momentum. So the thing you're talking about, which is the personality of the baby that is still in the adult, which is still in the old person, you're looking at a kind of momentum that does not stop upon the extinction of the body. Now, I think there's a lot of I don't want to say harm because they didn't mean to hurt, but I think there's some harm that maybe has happened from the way death is represented in movies. Like when people die in movies, it's there's this, usually it's pretty fast. Even if it is what they're dying from is a long-term disease, it wraps up pretty quickly, starts with a cough, the person's in bed, but there's this weird kind of lucidity to the person up until the point of death. And also, they generally, in movies, they have makeup on, which is always funny to me when the person dying looks great. If you've ever been around a dying person, they're dying. They look like shit. You're dying. They're all gray and like confused. They're, when you're around dying people, they will spin through time. Your parents won't recognize you for a second. They'll think you're somebody else. They won't, they're like, everything's like the process is happening. So you're very confused when you die. So in general, not all the time. Some people die with a clear mind. It just depends on the type of death. But think in terms of getting hit by a car. So you want to cross the street, you get hit by a car. Now, if we're talking about this momentum continuing, the confusion, assuming you didn't hit your head and you're unconscious, like somehow you just got smashed and you're like bleeding out. Even then you're going to be confused because you're getting dizzy, like blood's leaving your body, or like things are fading out, your vision's going. So it's a very confusing experience initially when the body dies. If you are a materialist who has convinced themselves that it's a permanent thing, the next bit of confusion is going to be when you realize something is persisting here, like I'm still here. And this is where you run into the near-death experiences, which are a global phenomena that don't seem to be completely shaped by culture. Like regardless of what part of the world people are having these experiences in, the reports tend to be similar. And everyone's heard it. The Light, the Life Review, seeing ancestors and stuff like that. Now, I don't know what that is. I don't know. I sometimes I think that's probably just like a built-in way the computer shuts down. This is something it does. Who knows? But in Buddhism, the concept is this momentum persists into something called the bardo. The bardo means in between, and there's an actual number of days. They say that you get to hang out there, and I can't remember. It's like 37 days or 29 days or something. I'm not sure, but at least from the time space perspective, that's how long they're there. Within this place, there are a lot of technological parallels, man. It's like in the way the algorithm is reflective, it assesses your desires or whatever, and then produces something that has within it a component of attraction to you. Apparently, this happens in the bardo, or the way you wake up in the morning and you're in a shitty mood, and then coincidentally, everyone that day is an asshole. If you don't catch it, you could just be like, wow, I guess it's act like an asshole day. You don't realize you're seeing your asshole projection like being reflected off the screen of another person. So in the bardo, apparently, you don't need people for the reflective quality. These projections happen and they appear as either Nietzsche's demon or Nietzsche's angel. It just depends on where you're at and how you died. And like if you died scared, then at least initially, that's going to be some scary shit you see around you. If you died in a peaceful way, well, then there's going to be more of a possibility of navigation through this liminal intermediary place. And so, thus, the emphasis on meditation in Buddhism, a way to calm one's self, to not be distracted by thoughts, which are their own like apparitions. And then theoretically, if you wanted to, instead of spinning the wheel again and jumping back into a body, you could choose not to do that and then, transcend the wheel of birth and death. But if you still wanted to go back or return or whatever, however you want to put it, then you could have more control over what your next birth might be versus in this depiction of things, people running from demons that they don't recognize as their own projection into any fucking body that they can find. Because if you've had a body, you want a body. And so this is how you could incarnate as an animal. This is how you can incarnate in the hell realms. This is how you could incarnate in any variety of things. But the idea is like maybe you could slow down a little bit and like choose a birth that is going to be more conducive to you continuing to like spiritually evolve. I like that idea. Is
Yeah.
it true or not? Who the fuck knows?
Algorithmically speaking, it seems like a really fun role playing game where you basically
Oh yeah.
keep improving the different parameters based on your ability and willingness to meditate and let go of the menial concerns of life on Earth.